Hello. We are back from the HLC, and we went from having fairly sparse news at the HLC itself to having a whole lot of news dropped on us on Friday, mostly pertaining to 2023 organized play. So, just trying to get through it all. I'm going to try to keep the editorializing to a minimum because then it'll take twice as long. If you want to hear me comment and gripe about this stuff, I think I'm going to be on the Universus Academy podcast for this, recording that later tonight. So that'll be out in the coming days. I'll link to that in the description. I'm sure we'll talk about it on Top Deck Heroes tomorrow as well on the Rochester CCG Twitch. We'll also put that in the description. But first things first, we obviously had the HLC last weekend, and Kevin Broberg won. We're all very happy for him that he won with a Midnight Chaos deck. Sort of started with the same basic concept as the one that Pippo ran at NA Nationals, if you saw that. And yeah, he's been working on that for a little bit, so pretty happy for him locally. If you want to see the top 32 deck list, Jesco themselves haven't posted anything officially aside from a Discord text-only format thing, but someone in the community put together a bunch of lists on UVS Ultra, so I'll link that in the description. You can check those out. Also, of course, at the time we had that weekend, the League of Villains premiere event with a sealed format, so we pretty much got to see everything in the set. That is all up on UVS Ultra. And in the intervening week, the quick pack cards showed up, not necessarily on purpose, but TCG Player posted them up pretty much, so they're out there. you can go look at them. I'll put a direct link in the description for that. 5 cards, including a Valiant Assault reprint, is pretty exciting. Some pretty neat cards, so go check those out as well. All that out of the way, the big news over the past few days is on Friday, Jesco dropped a whole collection of articles and posts on their webpage, basically a little subsection of their website for 2023 organized play, which is, first and foremost, it's nice to see them using their website for things that websites are supposed to be used for. That makes me very happy. I can't link to all the individual pages, that's just way too many of them, but I'll link to sort of the landing page and the sort of article write-up that they put there. And so there's a bunch of elements to this. So at the top level, the HLC for next year, they didn't specify that there's going to be a cash prize. We're assuming there won't be, just from, the chatter that's been going around the past 6 months or whatever. But so we don't really know what the HLC is going to be playing for exactly, but there will be no point system next year. You will only be able to get invites by making tops at a Nationals. So, a little more random, right? A little weird. But it seems like they don't want people qualifying for the HLC by playing well all year. They don't want. They say they don't want a system that rewards people for going to lots of events, I guess, is sort of the idea. So they're just going to have all the invites earned through Nationals. And Nationals itself is going to be something you have to qualify for, but there's going to be a lot of qualification spots. You can, if you make top cuts at an RLE, or win a local provisional store championship, you'll be qualified for Nats, and those invites hand down. So if somebody wins multiple store championships, whoever finished second at the later ones will get in. When we get down to the later RLEs and, it's a top 32 cut, if 28 of the top 32 already have an invite, then 28 next down the road, they're going to filter down until they give out 32 invites if it's a top 32 event. So chances are, if you really want to go to Nationals and you can break even at an RLE somewhere, you'll probably be able to get in. But that is the system that they're going for. They think that this is going to be more motivational in some way, shape, or form. So that's what they're doing. Also, they are not going to do any more Jesco officially run sponsored webcam provisionals. Stores can run webcam provisionals if they want. There's no details on the mechanics of how that's going to work because obviously, a local store with a 16-person play group is going to need a lot more promos than usual if they want to run a webcam provisional, right? So we'll have to see how that actually works, but that's sort of the idea. They want stores to kind of volunteer to run webcam provisionals on their own, or else there just won't be any. Also, the RLE participation prize has been reduced to a single RLE promo. It used to be 4 or 6, depending on when you registered, pretty much. So they're really kind of clamping down on that. They want to make RLE promos a lot more scarce, a lot more valuable, pretty much. And to go with that, the top cuts prizing is similarly sparse. You'll get 1 more promo for making top 64, 2 more for finishing anywhere from 32nd through 5th, and only the top 4 get, sort of 1 of each promo sets or any, significant number of these promos. So they're going to be a lot more rare, but they allude to the idea that they might be available at side events at the RLEs as well, that there's going to be prize walls at those, which was pretty popular from the HLC. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. Locals-wise, they want to put a 60-day wait before they put Plus Ultra cards up on online redemption. They're concerned about resellers storing up points from all the packs that they open when they're, chrome chasing or whatever, and sort of just flipping the in-demand Plus Ultra promos via online redemption right out of the gate. So they're going to put a 60-day stay on that. You will still be able to redeem in person at events. This was a bit of a concession after, instant mass riots, as there tend to be whenever Jasco announces things like this. People were complaining a lot. They say, well, okay, we'll let you redeem in person, which doesn't entirely solve people's concerns, but it's something. And somewhat better news, they have confirmed, and we sort of knew this with set 3 already, but they're going to be doing extra credit promos. They're going to be continuing those and using them as sealed play incentives. And they also, at the HLC, showed off the Series 4 extra credit promos. They all have a similar design concepts when you see they're sort of alt arts of characters of various, I believe entirely Foundations off the top of my head, but they're just sort of, little art packages that they have the characters. Last time it was sort of athletic, where this time they're very in various sitting positions is sort of the shtick, but they look pretty good. There's some pretty neat cards there, so go check those out. I believe I have a link for that as well. And lastly, they sort of announced what formats they're going to be working with for 2023. And it seems like they abandoned the idea of coming up with some sort of alternative multi-IP format. They're just going to keep running back the original standard 10-set format, as well as bringing back Retro, which, for those unfamiliar, is the idea of Retro is it's all sets that Jasco's ever released are legal. Obviously, that's going to be kind of hard to get into if you're not an old-timey player, but it's like legacy formats in any other card game. That's kind of just how it is. So they're going to be running some side events at RLEs, mainly for standard and retro. They're going to try to come up with some sort of premier, primarily standard event towards the end of the year, and I guess retro will be on the side there. And then aside from those 2 formats, there will, of course, be MHA only, which they're calling MHA Block Constructed, as well as Sealed, that they're trying to push a lot this year. One nice note on that is that for the MHA only format, they're going to start allowing the older versions of reprinted cards. So for instance, if you have the older Valiant Assault, or you have the older version of One With Nature, or cards like that, or the Origins promo Merciless Rush with the Origins mascot on it, Crit, you'll be allowed to use those now, which is sort of an interesting reversal of policy by the IP holder in Japan. Not quite sure why they decided to change their mind on that, but it's cool that they did. Maybe, Jessica just talked to them and said, like, hey guys, this is silly, and they kind of gave up on worrying about it too much or whatever. Yeah, that is everything that I have in these notes. It is a lot. I encourage you to go read their article, read all the various posts on the website for yourself. I might have missed little details too. But the last thing I'll say is, they've already sort of walked back on 1 or 2 bits here. There could be more in the future, so stay tuned over the coming week. We'll see if they change any of these policies, because there's been a lot of public pushback about lots of these for various reasons. So stay tuned to official Jasco posts over the course of the week, and if you want to hear people talk opinions about these, I'm sure there'll be plenty, on the UA podcast and on Top Deck Heroes, and I'm sure on Unfun Stuff on Tuesday night. There's going to be a lot of talking about this stuff, so keep an eye out for that. It'll be an interesting week. We'll see what Jasco does with all of this. But that is where we stand as of February 5th. So thanks for listening, and have a good evening.